Hello and welcome back to the channel. So you're sick of changing out batteries and love playing your favorite games on the 360 with a wired controller instead of the standard wireless version. The only problem is the cord's destroyed because of your dog, cat, hamster, cockatoo, girlfriend, mom, dad, brother, little brother's friend, or maybe just plain overuse. And it needs to be replaced. But where to start and how to do it? Let's jump into it. First off, you're going to need a replacement cord. I'll put a link in the description for where I got mine, but do some research if you don't like the links below and find a good OEM looking replacement. The one I received looked a little purple when I got it, which is a little weird, but maybe it was just old stock that got discolored over time. I'm not really sure, but it ended up working really well, so there's that. Next up, you'll need some soldering equipment, like a soldering iron with some solder and some desoldering wick, as well as a small Phillips screwdriver. Optionally, you may also want a spudger or something plastic, small and thin to help with opening up the shell too. It's nice to have, but it isn't necessary. Start by removing the 7 screws on the back, and don't forget the one that is hidden under the lower label on the rear of the controller. Now would be the time to use the plastic prying tool to open up the housing. Otherwise, just keep wiggling the edges of the two halves and it should pop loose after a little while. Since you're here, it may also be a good time to replace the thumbsticks and do some cleaning as well. But if not, start by heating up each of the 4 cable connector pins on the front of the circuit board. Use some desoldering wick to remove the old solder and push the pins out one by one with the tip of the iron until the entire connector can be pulled from the board. Now my old connector had 5 slots but only 4 pins. If yours has the same amount, make sure when you're installing the new cord to leave the first pin hole on the right side empty. Also make sure the red wire for the cord is on the left when looking at the rear of the PCB. Solder down the pins from the other side and you should be all good. I took the time to clean the inside, the button pads, and the edges just to make sure this controller was looking nice and clean. The thumbsticks were still in decent shape and those got popped on before reassembling the housing too. Turns out it's much easier to put everything into the front controller shell first and then add in the PCB followed by the rear housing so everything stays in place nicely. The top connector for the cord can be wiggled side to side while applying a little pressure to the housing to get the notches in the correct place too. Nothing is going to snap together, so you still need to hold the 2 housing shells with a little pressure while reinstalling all of the screws too. But once everything is together, do a quick test of the buttons to make sure everything feels good, then test it out for real. You can immediately tell whether or not items are out of place or they're just not feeling right, and now would be the time to address that. If you run into issues with the buttons not working afterwards, double check your solder joints and make sure the button pads are all in the correct positions. But if everything checks out, you're good to go and you can get back to playing some more Minecraft, or maybe some GTA, or Call of Duty, or maybe a little Halo or Gears. It's really up to you now. I hope this helped fix one of your issues, and if you're looking for more tutorials on fixing stuff, be sure to check out my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next fix.